Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Number 9 UCLA takes on number 10 Oregon in what is by far the game of the week. Pac-12 title hopes will be on the line, but more importantly, the Pac-12 playoff hopes could be on the line this Saturday as the surprising 6-0 Bruins take on the 5-1 Ducks in what many will call the Chip Kelly Bowl. Of course, Chip Kelly being the former head coach at Oregon, now the head coach at UCLA, where he's starting to find some of the success that he had with the Ducks nearly a decade ago. The Ducks guys have won 9 of the last 10 meetings against UCLA, including the last 3, but 2 of those last 3 have been decided by 3 points each. And I have a feeling we're going to be in for a similar thrilling result on Saturday. So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, ready to break down everything you need to know for this game and, of course, share our official prediction for, again, the game of the week, a top 10 showdown in Eugene. But, of course, guys, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, guys, beating out over 80% of the national analysts. We want you to take advantage of those. Join our team, become a part of our GE Nation, and start winning with us today. Again, the link for that on the description, down in the description below on thegridironexpert.com. You're going to find prices and picks that are better than anywhere else you can find. But again, only over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Well, all right, let's dive into this game, guys. Let's do a deep dive of the Bruins and a deep dive of the Ducks. So let's start with UCLA, the road team here, the surprising road team. Number 9 in the country. UCLA's offense, guys, has been one of the best in the country, and that is a major reason why Chip Kelly has his squad as a top 10 team right now. The Bruins are averaging 41.5 points per game and over 500 total yards per game. And what's more impressive than that about me is how balanced UCLA has been this season. The Bruins, 294.2 passing yards per game to go along with 211.5 rushing yards per game. So they are balanced. They can beat you either way you want it. Through the air, on the ground, you take one away, probably doesn't matter. It all starts, though, with Dorian Thompson Robinson, a guy who feels like he's been in college for 10 years. The quarterback for the Bruins has thrown for over 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions, also has over 230 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns, completing 74.8% of his passes. That is the number that stands out to me. This is a guy in Dorian Thompson Robinson that a few years ago, everybody saw the potential that he had, but could he ever take that next step as a passer? He was a dangerous rusher. Could he take that next step? He has done that this year. Nearly 75% of his passes are being completed. Only 2 interceptions, hasn't nearly run the ball as much as he has in the past. This is the quarterback that Chip Kelly wants and needs for his system, and he is delivering. They also have a phenomenal running back in Zach Charbonnet. 615 yards on the year for him, 6 touchdowns to go along with 7.1 yards per carry. 7.1 yards per carry. Talk about a running back that you can count on. Talk about a guy that's extremely tough to stop. This offense is delivering time and time again. They can score at will. They've had 8 touchdowns of at least 25 yards. They're one of the most explosive and balanced offenses in the country and will pose a major threat for this Oregon defense that we'll talk about here shortly. When you take a look at Oregon offensively, can they match up with UCLA? Well, absolutely they can. No doubt about it. The Ducks are averaging 42 points per game, and Bo Nix, the transfer quarterback from Auburn, has been electric. Everybody was dogging on Bo Nix after his horrible performance against Georgia in that season opener. Since then, Bo Nix has thrown 12 touchdowns to just 1 interception. 12 touchdowns and 1 interception since that season opening loss to Georgia. He has thrown for over 250 yards in 3 of his last 5 games. He is completing over 70% of his passes and has also rushed for 331 yards and 8 touchdowns. So Bo Nix, guys, love him or hate him, you can't deny the facts, you can't deny the stats and how well he is delivering for Oregon, a team that had major quarterback struggles last year. They have finally found their guy, and you got to credit Kenny Dillingham, their offensive coordinator, for Nix's resurgence as well. But outside of the passing game, guys, we focus so much on that. You can't look at the numbers here and disregard the 241.7 rushing yards per game that Oregon is averaging. The Ducks are airing it out at will with Bo Nix, but he has a great complement with him. Almost 250 rushing yards per game. The Ducks are averaging over 500 yards per game in total as well, and they're doing it with guys like Bucky Irving. They're doing it with a guy like Noah Whittington. You know, this is a Ducks defense guy or a Ducks offense that has so many different rushers at their disposal. Irving, Whittington, and Bo Nix all have over 300 rushing yards on the year. You never know who the ball is going to. Just like with UCLA, the RPO-style offense, is the quarterback going to keep it? Is he going to hand it off to one of his running backs? Are they going to launch it deep? You don't know. That is such a tough task for a defense to have, especially for a full 60 minutes. When you take a look at the defenses, though, guys, I will say this, that Oregon and UCLA are very even statistically when it comes to their defense. UCLA has allowed just 22.7 points per game, guys. That's not too bad at all. But you do a little bit of a deeper dive in the numbers. And again, the UCLA strength of schedule has not nearly been as tough as Oregon's. Oregon did play Georgia. They played Washington State, guys like that. UCLA's toughest tests have come these last 2 weeks when they took on Washington and they took on Utah, winning both of those games. 22.7 points per game, but they've allowed over 30 points 3 times this season, including 32 points in each of the last 2 games against Washington and Utah. UCLA won both of those games, but against pretty good offenses in Washington and Utah, they allowed over 30 points in both of those. They also allowed over 30 points to South Alabama earlier in the year as well. The key stat that I'm looking at here for the Bruins, though, is the fact they're only giving up 99 rushing yards per game. That's an extremely impressive mark. To be 6 games into the year and allowing less than 100 rushing yards per game on average, that's hard to do, regardless of who you're playing. They did give up 192 rushing yards to Utah, though. They did give up 162 yards to South Alabama. So when they have faced teams that have a pretty dominant run game, such as Utah, such as South Alabama, guys like that, they have struggled a little bit. When they have guys that have a strong offensive line, they have struggled a little bit. And Oregon has all of that. They've got a potent rushing attack. They've got a strong offensive line. So what UCLA has to do defensively is they have to find a way to make Oregon one-dimensional. And I would say this is a game where they need to find a way to make sure Bo Nix does this alone. If they take away the rushing aspect, both from their running backs and from Bo Nix, and force him to throw the ball, can Bo Nix deliver? Can he win a game solely by himself with the team on his back? Or will he result back to his old Auburn days where he cracks under the pressure and falters, kind of like he did in Week 1 against Georgia? That's what UCLA defensively needs to do to beat Oregon on their home turf. When you look at the Ducks go, guys, they are very similar to UCLA. We talked about the stats being very similar. Oregon's giving up just 98 rushing yards per game. There's a yard difference when it comes to rushing defense. So this ultimately could come down to a game, guys, where it comes down to passing. If neither of the run games can really take off, and we know that both teams have very dominant run games and both very talented running backs, but if they get shut down by the opposing defenses, who can deliver? Will it be Dorian Thompson Robinson, or will it be Bo Nix? But you keep looking at this Oregon defense, guys. The secondary is a major concern for me. You might lean Dorian Thompson Robinson in this one, right? The Ducks are giving up 275.3 passing yards per game. That's a lot. That's a lot of yards. That's a lot of yards. They allowed over 300 passing yards in 3 of the 6 games that they have played. That includes games against Georgia, BYU, and Washington State. Those were the 3 games where they gave up over 300 passing yards. The Ducks going 2-1 in those games. Probably should be 1-2, though. Gotten lucky with a heck of a comeback against the Cougars. They did look better against Stanford. They did look better against Arizona. Not necessarily world beaters, but maybe that's a sign of the defense improving. And you got to think that for both teams with their defensive weaknesses, that they would have fixed those, as Oregon and UCLA are both coming off a bye week entering this game. So both teams will be well rested, had the opportunity to make adjustments and make changes. Will they be able to deliver? And really, which defense will come up with the biggest play and the biggest stop when it's all said and done? Last year, it was Oregon. The year before, it was Oregon. Will it be Oregon again this year, where UCLA finally snapped their 3-game losing streak to the Ducks, rise up in the rankings, and be the Pac-12's best chance of making the college football playoff? What is going to happen in Eugene? Oregon is going to win. Oregon is going to win. And my man, South Text, who is a big-time UCLA fan, we apologize for this pick, my guy, but I tell you one thing, UCLA, they're a heck of a team, and their playoff hopes are not done if they lose this game. Just like Oregon's was not done when they lost to Georgia. Just like USC's are not done because they lost to Utah. The Pac-12 is still a wide open race, guys. A lot is going to happen over these next few weeks. But ultimately, guys, I have more faith in Oregon right now offensively to get the job done. Both teams are very, very good and sound offensively, but I think the Ducks' defense does just enough to slow down Dorian Thompson Robinson. I think Oregon's rushing game gets just enough much more going than UCLA's. Factor in home field advantage, which is going to be a major, major role in this one. I like Dan Lanning's defensive scheme to get the job done against DTR. And in Eugene, Oregon beats UCLA. Oregon will be the highest ranked Pac-12 team at the conclusion of Week 8. And Oregon, after that, could be the Pac-12's best chance of getting a team into the college football playoff after they win a nail-biting thriller over the Bruins on Saturday afternoon. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, and we want you to win with us today. Check it out. Become a part of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.